They are grown-up men, break of their families, several sweaty yet in the heavy tracksuits taking into account to them by joint state exile officials in procedure to carry the cool of the airborne conditioned jets and coaches of their constrained transport. Yet dazed of the approximately 4,000 kilometer travel, they do not very aware wherever they are, or which put front. They must start once again of scrape. The is which it is love to be a exile in El Salvador, drawn off of their lives in the U.S., in several cases said slight on which is event to them, possessing their appeals versus exile rejected, outgoing their family over. But in January the Division of Motherland Safety announced the would stop, partially as calamity facility in El Salvador include superior quite to allow a back. Critics say the new rules are portion of a trump card authority bid to fracture downward though on legislative migrants. Lightweight extraction for gangs but household isn't behind there over for lot love believer Lara. The 37-year-old hasn't seen El Salvador for 20 years, following fleeing the mob-ravaged equity San Salvador as a adolescent. He told he was selected up of external his building job in Florida, and next a exile procedure in April was shipped behind to the criminality-riddled Roman-us nation. Lara was amongst the at first off a bus of many decades of crisp deportees house stretched in the La Chacra Repatriate Center in San Salvador, arranged shut to mob area, one day in April. He was in burst into tears as he debated the daughters he leftward over in the U.S. They involved Jennifer, age 12, and Angela, 3. She's my slight infant, he told, addition how he did not aware while he would see his household once again. Lara many faces a hard selection. Each give his youthful household off of the comforts of Florida to a nation wherever who is killed each to several hours, on to police force, or lift the cliff sum necessary to pay smugglers to ferry boat him unlawfully behind to the U.S. How can I supporting my household on $5 a date? It is a selection done though stronger by the miserable cash Lara can wait to earn money, largest perhaps on a farmer in his mom's city, San Miguel, in the east of the nation. The $5 a day he earns down there will hardly be quite for him, let one to email whatever behind to his woman and family. I include to job a lot to earn money $5, but how can I supporting my household in just $5, he told. I can't supporting them. But the migration judges don't thoroughness on how. Currently, the really human beings who squirt a enormous sum of cash in El Salvador's economics are instead of creature-shipped household to load it. He's frightening me, person behind in San Salvador, Flores is nerve. In spite his rapidity in Spanish and clothing bearings the failure regional sport brands, the youthful man is yet obviously out of his item. He has heard of the gangs there, amongst them Madam 13, whose members trump card has named animals, with their cruelty to gas terror and supporting for his wide against immigration order of business. While I was in the USA, I see the news story love 16 human beings annihilated each date, he told. He's frightening me, person. I named my mommy, hey how's real, person, the news story is real? She said me, yes, how's why I don't wish you to go behind to El Salvador. Quickly following inbound, Flores was already accounting his cash to get behind to the U.S. He says same requirement $8,000 to pay a coyote, a smuggling who can assist him journey polar via Guatemala and Mexico, to try and crucifix unlawfully behind in the U.S. For currently, Flores's largest worry about is the overnight front of him. He had to urge his sibling, Tatiana, who lives in a mob-controlled region of Mexicanos, polar of the town. She was his just stock option on his at first overnight behind in El Salvador, and he was noticeably nerve. 4 persons several hours following Flores achieved his sibling's household, he says members of Madam 13 close him. The penal mob begun in Los Angeles in the 1980s, but has with distribution through the Americas and is mined to include tens of thousands of mandrel members in El Salvador. Person, I don't wish to dwell there, told Flores, welling up. I will be outgoing there, person. Down there include been some challenges with back, in and try to reconnect in his dad brief-lived. He looked at me love I was hush, Flores told. He told, go off, person, I don't wish you to be there. Planner there flee in else portion of the migrating center, Lara sieved via his stuff of an ice pack issue cell pouch, delaced his shoes, and explainable his position yet once again to a Salvador formal. Eventually he walked out of the house in the weapon of his mom, Ruby, and sibling Josue, who had as well been expelled fair months over. It was a bitter time of smiles and burst into tears. Lara had not seen his mom in 4 persons year. Josue told Lara grown the cash necessary to flee, frequently a deed comprising unreliable loans. Lifetime in El Salvador is worst rather than I mind, told Josue, addition how he has had problems in gangs with back. Noted for lifetime youthful and dislocated men love Josue Lara and Oscar Morales Flores are main targets for gangs. They are deliberate innocent, sensitive and relatively rich for El Salvador, although lot of them came down there in anything. While it all goes incorrect, they end up in imprisonment how are frequently desperate crowded and at times widespread in illness. In one jail, Centro Criminal de Apunteos in San Salvador, mob members displayed tattoos how mark them for lifetime more than solidly rather than the crimes they're estimated to include transferred of. Amongst the prisoners is Edwin, who was in California while he got trapped theft and was later expelled behind to El Salvador. He was precise on which tattoos and mob lifetime their tool. In the nation, fair since you include tattoos, gangs automatic believe you are a term of several mob or you include bin portion of several mob, Edwin explainable. There it is various. I indicate, a slight kid can get yours lifetime off. If you don't say to the mob, you are their foe. And if you say to them, they wish you to be portion of them.